Hello everyone. So today we're gonna talk about the Altcoin season. So there are a lot of people on the social media talking about the upcoming of the Altcoin seasons. So the reason why many of them thinking the Altcoin season is coming is because they are looking at this chart of Bitcoin dominance. As you can see, Bitcoin dominance has been rising all the way since the end of 2022. You can see right here all the way until now, which is almost 3 years of constantly increasing Bitcoin dominance, and it's approaching an important resistance level, a long-term resistance level. As you can see here, I'm using the monthly chart right here. So this resistance zone is a very long-term one. So many people on social media, they think that when Bitcoin approach, I'm sorry, they think that when Bitcoin dominance approach this important resistance zone, it will reverse the trend. The trend will revert into downward trend. You see, it will go down like this. And as Bitcoin is currently at around almost $100,000, 90 to $100,000 range, which is quite high, and Bitcoin dominance go down. This is the sign. This is often the feature of an altcoin season. So that's why many people think that the altcoin season is coming. However, you must be very careful here, because one important factors for the altcoin season. But you guys must be very careful here. The reason is because one important factors for the altcoin season to start is money flowing into cryptocurrency. Not just retail money, but institutional money. There must be a reason why money have to flow into cryptocurrency, have to flow into important blockchains like Ethereum and Ethereum layer 2 and Solana first before they can flow into other altcoins, and the altcoins price can actually go up. So you need to have the big money flowing into cryptocurrency, into the blockchains, into the layer 2, layer 1 and stuff for the altcoin season to start. So you have the traditional markets, the traditional financial markets, the bond, the stock and stuff, and you have the cryptocurrency, the new digital financial markets. So the money will go where the interest rate, the returns is the highest. During the bull market, the altcoin season of 2020 and 2021, the reason why money flowing to DeFi, flowing to Ethereum and layer 2 is because the Fed, the Federal Reserve, lower the interest rate in the traditional financial system to be very low. And because the interest rate there is so low, people will try to find somewhere else with higher returns. So that's why during that time, the COVID 2020 and 2021, money flew from the traditional market into cryptocurrency is because of the lowering interest rate of the Fed all the way until the 0% range. So you can see right here, this is the federal fund rate. This is the policy rate of the Fed, that the Fed will control it, and when they control this rate, it's gonna affect other interest rate in the economy, not just in the US, but also affect many countries in the world. So you can see right here, at the end of 2019, when we have the COVID, right, the interest rate dropped significantly all the way from around 1.5% all the way until like 0%. Very low interest rate right here. So when you got like so low interest rate in the traditional financial markets, right, you got to find somewhere else to park your money, otherwise your money gonna be diluted by inflation. You always have to invest somewhere. If the interest rate in the traditional bonds market is so low that it cannot compensate for current and expected future inflation. You will have to find another place with higher interest rate. So that's why during 2020 and 2021 money flew a lot into the cryptocurrency market, into DeFi. So right now, what is the situation? Currently, interest rate is still quite high. It's like 4.3%. And yes, the Fed has been decreasing the interest rate since around August of 2024, as you see right here, but it's still very high. It's still 4%. We need it to go down quickly all the way to around like 0% or stuff in order to trigger the flow of the money from the financial markets into the cryptocurrency market. As of now, as you can read on the news, the stance of the Federal Reserve is still to keep the policy interest rate at the current level. It still want it to remain unchanged until they can see clearer sign of inflation going to meet the target of 2% goal of the Fed, or until there is a sharp deterioration of the job market, or until the job market goes very badly. You can check the inflation rate right now. It's still around 2.6%. This is the core PCE year-on-year change, or the PC inflation. Is still quite high, 2.6%. Still has some way to go until it reach the target 2%, the long-term target of the Fed. And for the unemployment rate, the unemployment rate also, although it has been increasing since around March 2023, it's still not increased very highly. It just went up like gradually. Currently, the unemployment rate is around 3.9%. It's still not that high. If there is a spike like this all the way up, then we might see the Fed panically going to cut the rate. But now the unemployment situation is not that bad. So combining with the inflation not reaching the 2% target yet, we can actually see that the Fed will still likely keep the rate unchanged. So without the interest rate in the traditional financial system to go down significantly, I think like we still need to wait some time till we see the money flowing to the cryptocurrency market, and we can actually have the so-called altcoin seasons. But right now, the trend is still Bitcoin dominance going up, and we still probably won't see the altcoin seasons like at least for now, or I think like at least for the next 1 to 2 months. We still need to see the change of the stance of the Fed from keeping the interest rate unchanged as of now, switching to a more dovish stance of decreasing the interest rate. And for the technical analysis side, we must see Bitcoin dominance reaching a resistance zone, and there is a sign of changing direction to the downward trend. We still need to wait for these signs before we can see that the altcoin season start. Right now it's still too early, and I don't think we are gonna have an altcoin season at least for this month, May, or for next month of June. We still need to wait. But the bigger pictures, we will see that there will likely be a recession in the US job. I'm sorry, we will likely see a recession in the US economy. This is the yield curve, the difference between the 10-year bond rate and the 2-year government bond rate of the US. And you see there is an inversion of the yield curve when the Fed lower the interest rate too aggressively and subsequently increase is like too aggressively as well. We see an inversion of the yield curve during the years of 2022 and all the way until the mid of 2024, like very long and big inversions. You'll see that this inversions of the yield curve is much more significant than the inversion of the past. And every time I almost every time, like 9 out of 10 times, we have an inversion like this. Around like half a year or 1 year or at most like 1.5 years later, we gonna see a recession. So in the past, like we almost always have a recessions after the inversions of the yield curve. So there is a high chance for now we might have such an incident, and this might trigger the Fed to lower the interest rate very dramatically all the way down until around 0%, and will trigger the money to flow from traditional finance to the cryptocurrency market. But the exact point in time such events gonna happen, I don't know. We still have to observe all the news and events in the markets and positions our portfolio and our strategy accordingly. So this is my video for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys safe and profitable trading and investing.